Honey is one of nature's gifts, but how did it get into this jar? Blooming flowers like this goldenrod secrete a sugary fluid called nectar. Bees are master foragers. They suck the nectar and store it in a special stomach to bring back to their hive. Bees also eat pollen. Check out how this bee packed orange pollen clumps onto her legs. With the nectar in their storage stomachs, the bees return to their hive to turn this nectar into honey. Okay, here is a typical hive. The box on top is called the super. This is where bees keep most of their honey for food. On the bottom is the brood box. This is where the queen lays her eggs and raises baby bees called brood. If it helps you remember, you can say baby bees are born in the bottom brood box. Bees communicate with each other using smells called pheromones. Before disturbing this hive, I'll cover up the smell of their pheromones with smoke so that they can't alarm each other. Here are just a few of Clovermead's 24 million bees. This hive alone might have about 40,000. At this point, bees are chewing the nectar and adding enzymes to it to change the nature of the sugars. Next, the bees store the honey in these cells. Think of them as little honey cupboards. Up until now, the honey is very moist and will ferment if it is stored with so much water. Bees will flap their wings to dry the honey before they seal it with a wax lid. This super is full of honey and ready to be taken. In a few minutes, I'll replace this box with an empty one. Between the boxes is an excluder. This excludes the queen bee from getting into the super. The worker bees can fit between the bars to get down, but the queen bee cannot fit through the bars to get up. Thank you, Your Highness, for not raising baby bees in the honey. Not that you had much choice. We want to share the honey with the bees, but we don't want to take the bees away from their home. Using a leaf blower will give these faithful workers a gentle exit from this super. The bees will return to their hive without much trouble. They will continue to serve their mother and will continue to gather food. It's a good thing because we need them to keep working. There is new brood that needs to be cared for. Now it's time to get the honey out of these frames. Remember how the bees put a wax lid on the cells after they dry the honey? These lids are called caps and need to come off so the honey can come out of the cells in the extractor. Each of the frames are checked to make sure that all the caps are removed. We try not to damage this honeycomb, but you wouldn't believe how well the hives can make repairs. If you give an old frame back to a hive, workers will reuse the wax, build new comb, and then fill it with honey once again. This is the extractor. The frames being put in will spin around at high speeds so that the honey will come flying out of the wax cells. Then the honey is pumped to the holding tank. Barrels are used to transport and to store the honey. The moisture level in each barrel is checked to make sure the honey will not ferment over time. After being weighed, this barrel and many others will be brought to the Clovermead store. Here's a fun fact. To make 1 pound of honey, a colony must visit 2 million flowers and fly a combined distance of 8,000 kilometers. This is why, with so much honey, bees are not obese. If stored in a cool place, this whole barrel of honey will crystallize, just like honey does sometimes in your kitchen cupboard. Don't worry, this just means the honey is super saturated with sugar. Finally, honey is pumped out of the barrel into tanks in the Clovermead store. The sieve strains out the last bits of wax and other impurities. What's left is pure and simple, raw, unpasteurized honey. Bees never sleep. They work tirelessly to give us many wonderful gifts. To say thank you, let's do our share to make the world bee-friendly.